All right, welcome to the first of its kind, world-changing manufacturers network. Lisa Ryan has her ears to the ground and her heart in the game. Get ongoing education and new connections right here with Lisa and the Manufacturers Network. Buckle your seat, listen, and spread the word. Here's Lisa.
Hey, it's Lisa Ryan. Welcome to the Manufacturers Network. I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Nelson Bruton. Nelson is the president of Manufacturing Chats, and he's been helping industrial companies grow revenues for over 20 years. So, Nelson, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. Hey, Lisa.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to doing what you do with Manufacturing Chats?
Sure, happy to. I'll make a long story short as possible. I was absolutely fascinated by the internet back in the day when AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy used to just drop those discs on us for those free trials of the internet, right? Just put those discs in, get 20 hours free. And it was just mind-blowing to me that through the computer screen, you could interact with people all over the world, have conversations in chat rooms, and surf the web on web crawler. It was it was a whole new world. And so that's what kind of got me into the whole internet. I was excited about it. I knew it was going to be disruptive. From there, I went to college and I was going to be a computer science major up until I took my first programming class, C++. Quickly realized that coding and programming was not going to be something I enjoyed. So I pivoted over to a business degree, got a degree in economics. And then my career started off in outside sales, right? And all the while I was still in the back of my mind and still fascinated with the internet. And so by fate, by the grace of God, I got introduced to our CEO, Chris Patterson, who had just built a website design company. And so I joined him. This is over 20 years ago. And while we were building websites, and we started doing SEO and paid search and email marketing and started driving traffic to the websites. And we said, hey, we've got to start converting more of these visitors that we're getting. And then we built out our chat infrastructure. And that was the early days. We have a digital marketing agency called Interchanges. About 8 years ago, the brand Manufacturing Chats came about. And that's the time we really pivoted. And instead of focusing on trying to do everything digital marketing for every customer, we said, who are our favorite customers? It ended up being the manufacturers. And what service do we generate the best results with? And that was our chats. So Manufacturing Chats was born.
So when you talk about chat, so what is it? People calling in and they're talking to robots, but they think they're talking to people? Or where are you when you're talking about chats?
Yeah, absolutely. So you go to a website and you see a chat window pop up. Mm-hmm. And so our value proposition is that from day one, the people on the other end are real humans and they respond within seconds. And
Okay.
we provide those people for our customers.
Huh.
So there is it's not a bot. We do have a bot solution, but what we found is in the industrial space, people value relationships. People like to do business with people. They don't want to be, and in a general sense, people don't want to be forced to use AI. They want to use AI strategically more and more in their businesses, but they don't want to be forced to use AI, especially when they're trying to find out some information from a company they're looking to do business with.
And we know that's probably going to be an ongoing conversation between the humans and the robots, because for some of them, they almost seem indistinguishable. At the rate that AI is going and having humans, how are they, personality-wise, we get it, but how are they going to keep up with the technology and just being able to access that information so quickly?
Absolutely. And one of the two key things, the two key words that we've honed in on over the years, and we've done tests, humans versus bot, continuously over the years, acknowledgement and empathy. Those are the two things that we've noticed that the human chat teams provide that the AI bots cannot. No matter how much data you feed the language model with from the customer through all their sales sheets and websites and marketing sheets, no matter how much data you feed a language model, that acknowledgement and empathy at some point in the engagement falters. And then people are realizing, oh, this is AI, and they get frustrated. Anecdotally, I go to lots and lots of trade shows and I talk to thousands of marketers every year. And when I'm in conversations with them, 97% of people say, oh, I can't stand dealing with bots. I want to deal with people. So there's a place for AI. We use AI in other places in our business, but in terms of that customer experience where they're on a website, it really boils down to three preferences. They either want to pick up the phone and call, which is what I do. That's my preference. Or they want to fill out a form, get on about their day and wait for a response. Or they want to engage in chat and have that acknowledgement of their inquiry. And yeah, it's at this point, the humans are still in the lead. To your point, we're certainly, we have an R&D department where we're next year, I guess I can let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Next year, we're actually developing a humanized AI solution where we are going to solve for the acknowledgement and empathy challenge with language models by doing a 3-month engagement of our human team. And then while we're doing that, train a language model on all the customers' data. And then boom, we have a bot that trains based on our human interactions and the customer's data. And it becomes a bot moving forward after a 3-month initial onboarding of our humans.
And it's so funny because I remember a couple of years ago, I spoke at a conference and it was an Internet of Things conference. And frankly, I didn't even know what the Internet of Things was at that time. But the reason that they brought me in was that no matter what kind of technology we use, we always have to keep the humans involved in that. Because like you just said, with the empathy, the ability to pick up on small cues that a bot, no matter how good they are, and who knows what it's going to look like a year from now, because it's just crazy. But we always do have to remember that there's decisions that can, and things that can only be handled right now by humans.
Yep. And I think that boils into the whole conversation that's taking place with AI is how much do we want to trust these AI agents? And it's building. The better the language models get, the more trust we're going to get. But one example on that, I was reading a post on LinkedIn with all the comments. And one of the, I can't remember what the guy's name was, but he was talking about how everybody has their note takers, the AI note takers on their Zoom meetings and Teams meetings now. So they're saying pretty soon, let's say you have a meeting at 5:30 in the afternoon with somebody, it's a business meeting. You both have your note takers. You may go home and be done for the day, but in the future, you'll be able to have your AI note taker agents communicate with each other, share what they learned from that call, from what was discussed, and take your personality into it and put together a combined report from the AI agents working together after hours. Fascinating thoughts, right?
Yeah. It's so funny because mine just show up. I don't even know how to turn them off. They're fine. They're there. But it's funny when I was at a meeting and I came in person, but it was a hybrid meeting and I wanted to be there. And I'm like, oh, who's Ellen? I'm like, oh, Lisa's note taker is here.
Yep.
Yeah, she's going to show up whether I'm there or not.
Yep, absolutely. And one of the things that we have to be real careful about in the manufacturing space, again, having 20 years experience myself, a lot of these companies have been extremely successful over the years doing things the way they do things. Salt of the earth. It really is relationships. It's doing the right thing by their customers. And they never have, nor will they ever be pulled or forced into innovation. They're very slow to move, and it's not a bad thing. It's just when there's not a major need to shift, they're not going to.
And
we
we
have
hear
to
so
be
much.
sensitive. I'm very sensitive of that in my conversations with my customers and potential customers.
Yeah, and you keep hearing the saying that it's not that AI is going to it will replace jobs, but the bigger danger is the person who knows AI is going to get the job instead.
True.
A person that is still afraid of it, because we still see a lot of fear. And in manufacturing, you're absolutely right. It's slow to move, but we are definitely not putting that genie back in the bottle.
No, we're not. And if you look about it, and last night I was in pondering mode, I was just scrolling LinkedIn and the videos, the feed on LinkedIn with all the videos, and Universal Robots kept coming up and some other automation companies, and they put their automation examples, and it just touches so many businesses, so many different businesses, and you see the automation taking place. And the AI, the robotics, the automation, that all is creating new jobs while it may be taking away from some jobs. But as a civilization for hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of years, if you don't evolve and learn new skill sets, you're not going to be able to survive in the new world. And the new world's not going to stop coming.
Yeah, and we're touching on this, but what are you seeing as some of the common perceptions or misperceptions that surround marketing and sales growth in manufacturing and the industrial market?
I think there's a big wave of complexity, and there's a complexity and unknown that's starting to maybe freak a little bit of these manufacturers out. And, they're really starting to just now higher level marketing and sales leaders they have to start understanding this and figure out how it applies. But I don't know if there's necessarily a misperception, but I think it's just the fear of the unknown. And you see a lot of the manufacturers that are embracing it and going full charge and trying new things, and you see some that aren't embracing it at all yet. So I think that's my observations.
And are you seeing an age thing with this? Are you seeing the companies that are able to find and attract younger workers, millennials and Gen Z, more likely to make those leaps? Or are you also starting to see some movement with, your older generations that may be a little bit more tech challenged, but are willing to try? What are you
Yes,
seeing as far as that
I'm
goes?
seeing that. There's a handful of the more mature leaders that are embracing it, but by and large, the younger generation and the companies that are hiring the younger generation are moving quicker into this new arena and leveraging the AI tools and really all the new technologies in marketing and sales. And if I was listening to one of your podcasts talks about CRM is a tool that's been around. There's people who've been in the manufacturing space and managing territories for years and years. They're not going to start using a CRM now because they never had to have
Right.
success. Well, the newer generation is all about data and AI and being efficient. And so those companies that start to transition to that younger generation as part of their culture, they're going to thrive in this new AI technology driven marketing and sales world.
And you look for ways to bring the younger generation into manufacturing. We talk about that on this show all the time. How do you change the conversation, not only for the parents to, be okay with their kids going into a manufacturing career, but also how do you attract? And when you walk into a plant, is it equipment from the 1940s that they're just putting Band-Aids and duct tape on to keep it going? Or are they walking into a facility that's climate controlled and robots and automation and just showing what manufacturing is going to? That's how we start to attract people into the industry. And part of that change is painful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, take some high school kids that maybe don't have a college track or don't know what they want to do yet to do a field trip to Fab Tech or one of these big expos that's in Atlanta, Orlando, Charlotte, Indianapolis. Take them to these trade shows and just open their eyes to the world that is manufacturing, because everything in this world that makes the world go round is made somewhere by some people in sometimes a real clean, impressive factory, in sometimes one of those other factories where it is 40-year-old machines.
Exactly.
Both, in my opinion, are fascinating.
Absolutely.
But getting that exposure to those young kids, taking them to these trade shows so they can just see halls and rows and rows and rows of people that are making all the little things that make the world go round. I think that really would be a big way to get the younger generation excited about opportunities.
We talk about Manufacturing Day, the first Friday in October, of being such a great event for companies to get into that and bring in high schools and even elementary schools because they're starting a lot younger. And seeing what it's like. Bringing your newer employees to trade shows, especially. I just got back from AED, so the Associated Equipment Distributors, and just to be in the industry where so many people are excited and you bring that passion, because finding a job is so much more than just the money and the benefits. Money and benefits are important, but when it comes to why do people do what they do, there's no better place on the planet than going to a trade show.
Completely agree. Because you see the people, most people at these trade shows with the companies, the passion, you said it. How do you think they feel on a Sunday? For a lot of these companies, the culture's there. They're building something. They're doing things. You know what I mean? So it's exciting. And that energy is contagious when you're there.
Exactly. So what are some of the marketing and sales trends that you're noticing in the industrial space?
People have to share their story, and they'd have to do it with video, right? So the four-letter word, it's been around for a while, content, right?
Mhm.
People, the companies, they have to start getting their subject matters experts contributing to a video or getting on video, showing operations in a customer environment, telling a story. So that's the big thing is the trend is you have to tell your story and let people that are scrolling screens see your story. So you have to be a content producer, a content creator in some form or fashion. That's a big one. And then the traditional, people still use Google. People still
Yep.
search for what they need. So make sure you're getting your ranking report from your marketing agency. Make sure you know where you rank for certain keywords that you should rank for. And if you don't, do something about it because you got to drive traffic online. And then if you get people to your website, you got to convert them. Make sure your phone number is easy to find. Make sure there's a contact and quote request form that's easy to access. And then make sure you add a live chat because more people prefer chat than ever on a website.
Yeah, really good point. And I also encourage people to go through their process, to go through their website, to go through their customer service on their website so they can see what other people may be going through, or even better, have one of their kids. Hey, if you were applying for a job, go to this website and let me know how you find it,
Yep.
just so you can get some feedback. Because if you give it to your 13-year-old, they're going to give you all kinds of feedback.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that, you brought up such a good point because it's a fundamental. Make sure your contact form is working.
Yeah.
Make sure your phone numbers are correct. So those fundamentals are very important to look at, and especially when there's a bit of turnover in the past 5 years in the marketing arenas for these manufacturers. Turnover and downsizing. Marketers in these manufacturers, another trend I'm seeing, they're having to do more because the
Right.
marketing stack isn't getting smaller, but the marketing teams are. And that's a big
Yeah.
challenge.
And I think between AI and you brought up a really good thing with the videos on there. We all carry with us a video recorder that, beats Hollywood movie
Yep.
recording stuff from 20 years ago. And
Mhm.
I think about when I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, there's the American Wire Fabricators Association. I've spoken for them a couple times,
Mhm.
AWRF. But when they are lifting these massive, like million-ton, I don't even know, and they're just lifting them with the lifts that they do and stuff, that's cool. And people want to say, wow, how do I get involved with that? I saw another video of the manufacturing technology that goes into making a pickleball. You are out there. It's not just about here's a picture of our newest machine. No, show it working, show people, bring in the personality.
Yep.
That's like you just said so beautifully. People are connecting with people and with
Mhm.
processes that they can actually see and relate to and say, wow, I had no idea that a career in manufacturing would look like that. How do I learn more?
Yep.
And your marketing really pays off no matter what the size of your marketing team is.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw one that jumps out at me. I saw a video of how pallets are recycled.
Oh, yeah.
Wooden pallets, right? And this
Oh,
wooden
I
pallet
saw that one.
gets
Yeah,
vacuumed up, and then the little bandsaw cuts the nails off, drops the boards, turns it, drops the
yeah.
other boards. Fascinating.
It really is. One of the things that we run into, of course, that nobody likes, of course, is change. So,
Mhm.
how do you work with your customers, really going through that change management, either with the people that are there or implementing these new sales and marketing strategies? How do you get the buy-in that you need to make it successful?
Really good question and pertinent because we've had to make some changes in that arena over the past year from experiences we had. So, onboarding our chat solution is very simple upfront. 15 to 20-minute process. Copy paste one line of code, help us fill out a script document. All right. And the marketing director, sales director, president, CEO, whoever we're working with, they get it. Like, okay. And they spend the time to do that. However, from a change management perspective, when we launch our chat team and that chat window starts showing up on their website and live chat conversations start happening and we start sending the chat transcripts to their team, we do that based on the chat distribution rules. So sales inquiries get sent to some email address or addresses. General inquiries get sent somewhere. Technical data sheets or documentation requests get sent somewhere. And we've had to make sure that we iterate and reiterate multiple times during the onboarding. Hey, please have a conversation with your team or have them hop on a call with us so that your parts and service counter know what to expect when these chat transcripts start getting sent to them, that your sales team know what these things are when they start getting them in their inbox. So make sure your team's aware of what you're testing, even during the 30-day trial period, and make sure they have clear expectations of what they have to do as those chat transcripts roll in. And so we found it's very important for them to get their entire team aware and expectations set for when we're doing the test run.
If they already are using a lot of tech, how does this solution actually work with the tech stack that they already have?
And usually that refers to a CRM that they have in place. So whether it's HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce, we integrate very easily through a web to lead API. So the chat data and everything automatically gets put into their CRM system and as a new chat lead, just like their web forms do. So it's a very easy integration into their tech stack.
So when I think about the fact that there's people on the other side of these chat boxes, do these people who are doing that, do they work for then a bunch of different manufacturers? Do they have a specialty? Because otherwise, it seemed to me that unless somebody is constantly doing chats, they would be bored sitting there all day.
Yeah, they get dedicated and trained on a particular customer. Okay. So they're not just handling random chats within our call centers. When we bring on a new customer, they help us fill out that script document, which is basically acts as part of the training. And then when that script document's filled out, our team spends about a week and a half in some pretty robust training environments where they're studying that script document and they're studying every page of the client website to get familiar with the navigation, the product names, the solutions, parts, service, all of the different parts of that business. Now, nuance here, that's not to say our team's trying to become a sales expert or a product expert for that company. That's absolutely not our goal. Our team needs to be knowledgeable to help the visitor navigate and have some sense of the business they're working for, but they're not going to try to sell or answer every technical question. The company already has those people that can do that. So our job is just to engage, have a conversation with people who prefer that method of communication, find out who they are, where they are, what they need. And then we say, all right, one of our experts will get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, awesome. As we're getting to the end of our time together, if you had one key piece of advice for people who are thinking about integrating chats, bringing in chats to their website, what would that be as far as getting started or what to look for?
Yeah, if you get at least 4,000 people to your website each month, you can rest assured that there's a percentage of those people who prefer chat as a communication option. So if you're missing opportunities, if you don't have easy to find phone number, easy to find contact form or quote request form, and a live chat option, if you don't have all three, you're missing opportunities. That's just consider that. It's all about making sure you're catering to what your customers and potential customers prefer.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So if people did want to continue the conversation with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Absolutely. Nelson Bruton, Manufacturing Chats on LinkedIn, but we actually set up a special URL for the listeners today. If you go to manufacturingchats.com/the Manufacturers Network, then you'll be able to download an ebook that I wrote on this topic and learn a lot more. And I actually wrote this ebook pre-ChatGPT.
That's something.
Yep.
Okay. Nelson, thank you so much for the gift. I'm sure my listeners will appreciate getting that so they can learn more and also connect with you on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Lisa, thank you for having me. Enjoyed our conversation.
I'm Lisa Ryan, and this is the Manufacturers Network podcast. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Manufacturers Network podcast. Do me a favor and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can grow this network and connect more fantastic folks just like you. You can either send your buddies to the website at manufacturers-network.com or share the Manufacturers Network podcast on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you and your industry friends hang out. The bigger and faster we grow the network, the stronger and deeper the community we'll all have. Thanks again, and I appreciate you.